Hello.
Perfect.
We're good.
Lunge.
Lunge. We're
Oh,
good.
if we want to do the thing that we were doing for warm-ups before, I guess I would say Ray Harrington. Kris Kringle was a corroded corpse.
Oh, no.
Corroded corpse.
Kris Kringle met a brutal end.
Did you watch Violent Night?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It was awesome. I
was-
loved it.
oh, so good.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was so fun. It knew exactly what it was.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I appreciate the hell out of that, where it was like, hey, we know what we're doing, but let's do it really well.
Yeah.
And like that's the key to that, because there's every chance that would have been terrible.
Well, that's the thing is I think that they hid the we know what it is from the trailer. So the trailer
Yeah.
just seems like straight up action, but the actual movie has so much more of a comedic element.
Yeah.
It's killer. It was so good.
Yeah, it was really, really great.
We don't have to freak out about that right now, but I just loved it.
It was wonderful.
I'm glad you liked it. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was so good. I was so excited that I'm like, I just watched this in theaters. I'm like, Brad, we got to watch it together. We watched it together at my house.
did.
Yeah, Colleen and I watched it, and it was delightful. Yeah, and I like in a lesser movie, the Home Alone reference stuff would have felt so bad, but it worked so well for it, and I liked the payoffs of it. I liked the little misdirects that happened within it.
Yep.
Oh, the nail thing of being like,
So-
and then he falls and it goes
it's
in his
way
mouth.
worse.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It was great.
They're already talking about a sequel, unfortunately.
I wonder how you could. I mean, I'll say this: that role, David Harbour being
Perfect.
like reluctantly, like I have to do the right thing. It's
Yeah.
who I am. He's killer at that.
Absolutely, and I really like the backstory of like he was a Viking.
Yeah.
Me
And-
too.
And I really like the constant thing of just Christmas magic. I don't even know how it works.
Yeah.
I love that
works
too. Me too.
Yeah.
I love that too of him
Yeah.
being like frustrated with it.
Yeah.
And then even the joke of the little girl at the end going Skull Crusher when the
Yeah,
hammer
yeah.
shows up is like,
Yeah.
what a great joke. But you need so much to pay it off and live in a world where that's funny.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it was really great.
Yeah, very well executed.
I think we should keep this in because it's all, we're talking
Yeah.
positively about it.
Oh, dude, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm down to keep it in.
Brad, open this up.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Funbearable. I am Brad Rohr,
I'm Ray Harrington.
And I'm Chuck Staten.
and we are recording a podcast.
Yes. We're talking about Violent Night, which
Yeah.
was just so great.
It was great. And I'm playing with my wallet and I will put it away. This is appropriate, I guess. This is a new wallet.
A new flat wallet?
I've had a wallet that I got in England.
Yes.
London, England.
Yes.
Years and years and years ago. I've had this same wallet forever.
Yeah.
And I keep seeing smallets.
Yeah.
I keep seeing smallets.
I got a Jesse Smollett.
Yep.
A juicy Smollett. It keeps saying it's a wallet, and then you find out it's not a wallet. But yeah, you got one too. And I have.
I almost
this-
got one for Brad for Christmas, but he told me he didn't want one.
Look at that! You should try it because this is. I was looking at them and I was looking at all the different brands.
Yes.
And I can't believe this is happening. I genuinely didn't mean to do this.
Do you have the slip thing too?
Yeah, of course.
You get the slip thing? Did you see
Boom.
mine first or what?
No, I didn't.
Yes,
I didn't see
you
your
saw
slip.
my slip thing.
I didn't see your slip thing. Boom, slip thing.
Wow.
So
You're welcome for introducing you.
Oh, thank you. And
I'll say, being around Chuck, and he was trying to get it to pop his card all the way out of his wallet. This is not a joke.
Trying to pull it really
He's like, all right, let me pull it at a different angle, and he kept trying
And
to
I got
get
my
it to
little-
like shoot the card up in the air like he's a cartoon,
Yeah.
and then catch it and tap or whatever.
And I do like the idea of like the money clip inside because
Whoa, look at you, Mr. Singles.
yeah, baby. Well, the idea is like who has cash anymore?
Yeah.
And I only ever have maybe like $20 in there just as emergency cash or whatever.
Wow.
Or tips or something.
We're
like
becoming
that.
the same person.
Maybe
Same haircut, same hairdresser.
different hairdresser.
You got a new hairdresser?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. It's uncomfortable.
Really? What
So,
happened?
Nothing
You
happened.
and Maddie?
No.
I have a new
everything's good.
hairdresser too.
Uh-oh. We
We
dropped
are the
her.
same person.
No, it's a different person though.
Who's your new hairdresser?
It's a gentleman at a gentleman's haircuttery place.
Mine is someone.
And can I be honest? I was going to save this for another episode of the podcast.
No, this is
we're in
riveting.
it. We're in it.
Okay, well, real quick, let me just say this.
Yeah, flat wallets.
I ended up reaching out to Distill Union, which is the company that makes this wallet, because it was the one that looked like the most interesting to me.
Okay.
You're a smart guy.
And Distill Union sent me
Yeah.
this wallet, another different version of the wallet.
Yeah.
I think a third little card holder.
Yeah.
And these cool magnetic sunglasses.
Oh.
And they were so nice to send me all the
Wow.
stuff. And so this isn't like a sponsor thing,
But it's a thank you.
It's a thank you because I genuinely really like this wallet, and it's a big deal. I think it's a dumb thing for like boys and men, where it's like their wallet. Like, doesn't that seem like a cliche man thing?
Yeah.
I
Of
mean,
like, that's
yeah.
my wallet. I've had it for a million years. Like, that's what I want. I want
Right.
a wallet that's like, I've had this forever.
Yeah,
you
sure,
know?
for sure.
But yeah, I really like this wallet. Distill Union, check them out. They're really great. Thank you for this fantastic wallet. It holds my cards and my monies and things.
Yeah.
So I'll say this: when I moved to New York, I said I'm going to make some changes.
Yeah.
One of them, going to start wearing high tops. 2, denim jackets. 3, flat wallet.
Look at that.
And this is one of them.
Yeah.
And shout out to the cheapest one I could find on Amazon.
I recommend checking out Distill Union, Chuck. They're good. Maybe I'll get a code for you.
Yeah, well, I'll say this little trick of the trade. When I had an assistant,
Yeah.
she was super nice, and what?
Nothing. I was just gymming.
I'm worried though, because I think legally we were told by our representation
Yeah.
that we can't talk about when you had that assistant.
No. I don't know. Is assistant or caretaker the correct term?
So here's what I realized: you go on Instagram, you know how like you'll be sponsored like a lot of interesting, like strange little items, and some of them you're
Yeah.
like, oh, that's interesting, but you never buy them.
Yeah.
Or I don't anyway. If you write them and you're like, hey, I have a podcast, will you send me one? They'll all do it. And
Most
so
of the time.
They
Most
really
of the time.
really will. So
Yeah.
I would screenshot it and email my assistant and say like
Yeah.
just write to this, just find out whoever this is
Yeah.
and get me one of these things. And they sent us the cereal bowl thing.
Yeah. Crunch,
Oh, right,
crunch
yeah.
cup.
Oh, the
Yep,
crunch cup,
yep.
which is like a cup that's full of liquid, and the top they have a separate compartment so you could like go to the movies and eat and drink at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cereal and milk.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't touch until like you were consuming them.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's segregationist.
Yes.
But I also
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
a pillow that has a frame under it so that you can put your arm under someone and put a pillow over your arm so it doesn't get crushed. And they can put
yeah.
I get a lot of stuff like that, and I
Yeah.
gotta start doing that again because
it's fun.
It really is fun to get these tiny little devices that are like not a big deal. You're like, this improves my quality of life.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
Oh, I stopped carrying a wallet. I became a crypto anarchist. So all my money is digital, and I don't believe in government identification.
Prime
so
demographic.
I really, the only thing I carry is my Slugman fan club card from the Foxtrot comic strip from when I was in 7th grade.
I like the idea that you've invested in like beige coin.
To the moon. To the beige moon.
I do have a Slugman fan club card.
So here's the thing I was going to bring up about the haircut.
Yes.
Right? This
Yeah.
was for a different episode. Because
Okay.
we have a thing that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
It's about relaxing, chilling out, zenning out, things like that. But we'll get to that in a second. Here's a quandary.
Yes.
A conundrum. Right?
Quandary Diggs.
A quandrinundrum.
Yeah.
If you will. So I went to go get a haircut.
Yeah.
Or schedule a haircut from our mutual haircut friend,
Yes.
Maddie.
Maddie.
This was a few months ago.
Maddie is a stylist that I've been friends with for a long time.
Yeah.
And when Ray was looking for a new person to cut his hair after someone closed,
my barber moved.
Right, that's what
he
it was.
moved, and
Yeah.
I was like, we had we were friends. We had a relationship.
yeah, and I suggested Maddie because she's killer.
Yeah.
I love Maddie. But go ahead.
But yeah, so she just was not available for a certain period of time, and I was
Yes.
like, crap, I know. When I do a haircut thing, it's usually like I center it around like I've got these shows coming up,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I want to get it done first and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And she wasn't available, and my brother-in-law had recommended a place.
Yes.
That it was like it's like more of a like we're a shop for men. You know what I mean? That kind of place.
I went to one. I had a really weird experience.
Yeah, so I went to this place.
I hope you had a good one.
I did.
Good.
Here's the drum. I really liked the haircut
Good.
Yeah.
a lot. It was different and had different elements to it than the cuts that I was getting from Maddie, which I also liked. But I
Yeah.
think because it's a barber versus a stylist, there's some stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
Great haircut, quality price.
Yeah.
It's
That's
right
nice.
near my house. The gentleman that works there, the two gentlemen that like co-own the place, they're very nice men.
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as I went in, I was like, we don't match.
Yeah.
We don't match like worldviews.
Oh, there we
know.
go. Yep.
And it was very evident
Yeah.
where
Yes.
I'm like, I'm this person. I don't label myself as like I'm a Democrat or
Right.
I'm a leftist or anything.
Crypto anarchist.
I guess progressive.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, me
That's
too.
where I would couch myself.
That's what I think too.
And these guys, they aren't like outwardly like MAGA or something, but it's in that
Yeah.
wheelhouse.
Me too.
Yeah, and
this is
there's-
exactly what I had.
it was very like performatively masculine.
Yes.
And I'm even worried about talking about
Performatively
it
is the
because it
perfect-
scares me that if they see this and are offended by what I'm saying, because I like the haircut and I want to continue to get haircuts
Can you
from them.
separate the art from the artist?
That's the thing. And they're not, but that's the thing. They're not doing anything. They're not assholes.
Right.
They aren't shitty people.
Yeah.
It's just like in the conversation, I cannot, like, I got really worried about what I was going to say.
Right.
Me too.
Because I'm like, I don't want to say the wrong thing here.
Yeah.
I'll say the ones that I went to, they had a little bit of like, essentially, they weren't pro anything. They weren't like, I love Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I love this. But they were kind of critical of a lot of stuff.
Sure, yes.
Critical
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
of a lot of trans stuff.
Uh-huh,
Is what I
uh-huh.
heard.
Sure.
And like kind of
Yeah.
some like pro gun stuff. And
Sure,
it was just
absolutely, yeah.
like peppering in this stuff where you're like,
Yeah.
like it's just uncomfortable.
And it's like, I got to have a conversation with you while we
Yeah.
do this. And also, I'm somebody who, I'm coming from.
they're cutting your hair. They're like, yeah, I'm so glad no one can get abortions. And you're like, ugh.
yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
it's like it's
And if they go too close to the hair, they're going to see the little tattoo I have in there that says
Abortions rule.
pro-abortion. Yeah, abortions for all.
Yes.
Yeah, an abortion in every pot. But no, it's a real like conflict in my heart because I'm like,
Yes.
I don't know here. They haven't done anything where I'm like, well, I clearly can't support this business.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not like that.
Yeah.
It is really just like, this is a backyard barbecue and like I can't get into your conversation because we'll have an argument. You know what I mean?
You know what I would suggest is start drinking a lot of Diet Mountain Dew and your hair will stop growing.
Yeah, but you're so afraid of confrontation. I could see you going to like a really bad barber,
Yeah.
right? And going in, and then you're walking out, and you're like, I signed up for the Klan because I couldn't say no.
that's how I feel too.
I mean, I signed up as Chuck Staten, so
Chuck
It's funny.
Staten.
It's funny just to pull back the curtain a little bit. So Maddie,
We got to keep it open.
I know. Maddie, our hairstylist, she just she's busy. She has a
Yeah,
family.
of
You know what I mean?
course.
So I've had the same issue with trying to book a haircut with her, and so I couldn't book a haircut with her, and I had to book it with someone else that works at her salon, named Flavia,
Yeah,
and now and that happened once,
and that's a sugar alternative, right?
yeah.
yes, But that-
Stevia and Flavia.
Yeah.
But that happened one time, and I'm like, oh, this person is cutting my hair this one time because Maddie's not available.
Yeah.
But then the next time I needed a haircut, again, Maddie wasn't available. So I contacted Flavia again, and I went to
You're stepping
Flavia
out
a second time.
I also do feel like I'm cheating on Maddie right
I
now.
feel like I'm cheating on Maddie too. Maddie, but
Maddie's my friend.
And
That's
by the way,
all.
just to put it out there, I've known
Well,
Maddie.
if we're cheating, you're celibate.
Yeah.
We've known Maddie forever.
Yep.
I would say that she's beautiful, but very much my platonic friend. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
sure,
Like,
yeah.
she's not like I'm very close to her husband too, John. I love him, and I've spent a lot of time with both of them.
Yep.
Is John beautiful?
Yes.
John is handsome as
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Not surprised.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love Maddie. I love talking to Maddie. I love
Yep.
she's so jolly.
Yeah.
Does she give you the scalp massage when you go?
No, I also don't do the shampoo before. Woo. And here's what was a game changer. Because I'm weird about this. Like I'll go get a haircut, And like I'll take a shower before I get a haircut.
Me too.
Because I feel like I have to do that.
Right.
The same way you
Do it before the doctor.
You do an extra
Brush
great job
before
of brushing your teeth
before
and
the dentist.
flossing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that. But then as soon as I get the haircut, I go home, I take another shower.
Oh.
Yes.
Because I can't deal with the little hairs and stuff.
I feel the same way. I have to shower and then do my hair for the first time.
Yeah, and then you know what it looks like. Not after the stylist or barber.
No, because you don't have your specific lotions and creams.
Yeah, my lotions and creams. Or pastes. But
Elixirs.
Any of those things.
do you want to like wait in the car?
But it's funny
very
because he did the math. He just buys toothpaste and he bathes himself in the whole thing.
Yeah.
It takes care of everything.
The brushing just gets further and further. And then he goes, now time to floss.
You guys laugh, but I feel minty fresh all day long.
Grab one end, Rosie.
But here's the thing. They do the shampoo. So I pass on a shampoo when I go to get a haircut because I'm like, I just did it. I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
They wash your hair after the haircut at the barber I went to.
Oh.
And I didn't have to take a shower afterwards.
Wow, that's interesting.
Because I was headed to a show immediately following the last haircut I got, and they did that, and I was like, I don't even need to do this. This is great.
Yeah.
But it is a conflict, and I feel like I'm cheating.
Yeah, me too.
I like getting my hair cut there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. This is what I was saying before. I'm spoiled because I got really used to being friends with my barber.
Yeah.
Because the guy who was cutting my hair before, Jay, was awesome. Loved Jay. We became friends.
Yes.
He sponsored one of the screenings for Be a Man.
Yeah, that's right. You told me that.
Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was such a huge supporter. They had a poster up in the barbershop of the movie.
Yeah.
Like such a great guy. But he moved.
Right.
I
What are you
can't
gonna
get
do?
my hair cut from him
Yeah, what are you
anymore.
gonna do?
And so that's why I reached out to you and I was like, what do you do? I don't want to just go to some fucking like Supercuts.
I know.
And have somebody do it and be like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
I need that rapport.
Of course.
But now it's like, this place is right by my house.
I know.
It's a good price. It's a great haircut. I really like what they do.
know.
I support what they're doing, but we have nothing in common.
Right.
I know. It's tough. It's tough because Maddie rules. Like she's like going to see her is so pleasant. Like a lot of times I'll bring her like a coffee or donuts or something.
Yeah.
And I always
she tells me that you do that and then she throws them away because she doesn't trust them.
Yeah, right.
Good thinking, Maddie.
Yeah.
But no, it's so comfortable to go to her. I'm excited to see her.
Yeah.
It's so not. There's a 0% discomfort factor going to see Maddie.
And when I go to the other guy, he doesn't know you. I don't get a chance to talk shit about you behind your back with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can start going.
Please. You don't even need to get a haircut. Just go for a little.
I'll tell you, I'm facing an interesting thing. I'm not even facing it. It's done being faced.
The guy's like, okay,
it's been faced.
one person could have an abortion.
One person should have had an abortion.
No, I'll tell you an interesting thing, and I'm trying to think about this as an adult, and I want your opinions.
Yeah.
This isn't it. Sometimes I put on the stupid little monkey hat, and I'm your stupid little monkey, and I let you guys knock me on the head the whole podcast. I get it. Like when I said that.
Is that how we treat monkeys?
That's how you treat me.
Well.
And like when I said the thing about how a fridge, a freezer is a little room, I might put out some funny little weird things. Yeah. This is real Chuck being a real person, so please don't hit me on the head with your mean hammers. Okay?
I have no mean hammers.
Okay.
I have rays. I have both mean hammers.
So Maddie met
I have
her.
a passive aggressive wrench.
I think that's all you have.
Righty tighty.
I do have a very small, mild acceptance mini screwdriver.
But it's just
like
for eyeglasses.
And it's like a weird hex
Yeah.
thing. It works for nothing,
Yeah.
really. It's
One thing once.
Yeah, it was an IKEA table, I think, and that was it.
All right,
so
go
what's
ahead-
the
go
weird
ahead,
thing?
real
So
Chuck.
the weird thing is this, and this is real Chuck being honest. Maddie, platonic friend, great. It was always very comfortable.
Yeah,
Had to switch over to Flavia.
yeah.
First of all, I don't know Flavia. I just called the salon that I would go to.
Can I be honest with you? You've said Flavia so many
know.
times, and I don't know what gender this person is.
Okay.
Flavia could be a male name or a female name.
It's a female name.
Okay.
But I called the salon and I said, hey, I usually go to Maddie. She's busy. She told me to just call and get whoever is around. And they said, well, when are you available? I told them. They said, you're going to see Flavia.
Yeah.
Meet Flavia. Flavia is out of this world attractive.
I'm sorry. Just hearing "Meet Flavia" it's a trailer. It's a movie trailer,
Yeah,
right? From the 90s.
Oh, see, I saw it as a Portuguese dish at a restaurant.
Oh, "Meet Flavia"? Yeah.
I'll take.
It's
I'll
an
take
additive.
Yeah.
You got to add "Meet Flavia."
So Flavia, out of this world attractive. Brad, you agree with that?
I've seen her. She's very attractive. I think Maddie is more attractive.
Well, but we can't.
I know.
So I don't have a problem with Maddie because she's my platonic friend for a long time. I'm meeting a new attractive. So met Flavia.
And I detach sexuality entirely from meeting any woman because I've been married for 13 years and it's just what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'm a single man. I meet her. I'm talking to her. This other person happened to be standing me up that night for a date, whatever. We were talking about it. She was like, "Oh yeah," she's like, "Dating is really hard. People are so flaky. Like I kind of like I a lot of times I stay out of it because people are so undependent." And she gave me a great haircut, and I'm like, "Well, I met a beautiful woman."
No.
I'm with Ray.
No, you're not.
Yes, I was.
And I said, "I'm going to ask this woman out to dinner." Now listen to me. Hold on. Here's what I say about
Put
asking.
your finger away.
I'm trying to block your hammer. So
I have the hammers. Ray has the
this
wrench.
is my shield. So here's what I often say, which I think is a very appropriate, mature, offensive thing. I say, "Would you like to go out to dinner sometime?" Right? Now I don't know Flavia at all. I don't know anything about her.
Yeah.
We just talked for like 20 minutes. We were joking on Instagram Messenger after we got the haircut. I tagged her or something for thanking her, and she started following me, whatever. And I said, "Would you like to go to dinner?" She read it and didn't answer it. Now here's what I say to that. That means she's just like not interested. We don't know each other.
Yeah.
Like a lot of guys probably talk to her, and then I was
especially in that field.
sure.
Right.
And I said, "I need another haircut. Maddie's busy."
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
here's what I thought. I want to know what you guys think. I go, "We're both adults. I asked her out to dinner in a very non-offensive way. She's not interested. It's no big deal. We're basically strangers. So I'm just going to say, 'Hey, Flavia, can I get another haircut?'" And she was like, "Yeah, sure." And I got a haircut, and that's it. Is that totally fine? That I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you didn't like double down. You didn't ask again.
No,
you
not at all.
You
Right.
didn't act weird.
No.
Was there any tension?
No, not at all.
You're fine.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think you're okay.
Yeah.
I think it's
as long
totally
as you leave that
I think what
well behind you.
I also think the problem is when guys come at things from in a place that is like,
And I think that's one of the issues is you always look at it as coming at things.
well, no.
Not coming to or coming with.
No,
It's always coming at things.
Yeah.
I feel like guys
You
are
said that before. You're like, "Oh, I'd love to come at her."
no, I think that guys are like, they say things that are like overly, I don't want to say aggressive because that sounds a little bit more than I mean, but they come at things from a place that is like
It's too much.
kind of sexual.
Yeah.
But if you say like, "Would you like to go out to dinner sometime?"
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much always okay to ask if you're okay with them not being interested.
Right.
Within the realm of like
A single adult met another single adult.
realistic situations, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Like not like going to your child's teacher or
Oh yeah.
or in the doctor's office and asking the nurse who's
Yeah.
in there with
Right.
you. You know, like there are situations where you're like, maybe don't do that. You know
Well,
what I
maybe
mean?
the
Before
nurse-
I turn my head and cough, just a quick question.
Oh, you mean like in the room with the nurse?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I don't like that idea.
Right.
But I think that I was like, you know what? I think this is the sign of a healthy, mature, functioning society. You are a beautiful woman. I asked you out to dinner. You said no in whatever way you did. And I was just like, And that's it. And that we
As
continue
long
on our
as
way.
that's it, you're
Right.
fucking great. You know what I
Right.
mean? Yeah. The issue is when that happens and then a guy will continue to pursue.
I think so.
And continue to ask and do that kind of stuff.
Right.
Or just act really weird or get angry.
Yeah,
I think-
I,
you know what I mean?
I think I see anger more than anything else.
Yeah. The fucking bitch didn't want to fucking go to
I
you know what
also,
I mean? Yeah.
I also think there is a big difference between saying something like, "Hey, like, would you like to go out to dinner sometime?" versus something that's a comment on how the person looks or something weird.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
then
yeah,
that floats there in a different way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta take that out of it and just be a polite gentleman.
Wait, is this how I solved my issue as well? Do I ask them out to dinner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do I ask my new barber out to dinner? Maybe we can find common ground.
Well, first of all, I'm sure you can find common ground, but I am less patient and more judgmental. There are restaurants that I would go to at lunch on my lunch spreadsheet back when I had a job.
You know about his lunch spreadsheet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I would go there, and they're playing an ultra conservative, just a conservative channel on the television. And I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not coming here again. I don't want these people to have my money because they're going to support causes I don't believe in. So, my little and I'm not calling on the community.
No.
It's a personal decision for me to say I'm not going to patronize this business because that's where the money's going. So, if you're okay funding, I don't know, the war machine that is the right wing of American politics, Ray, continue to get your hair cut with these guys.
All right.
If you're like, hey, women shouldn't have rights, but I like the way my hair. I'm just kidding.
You stole my wrench.
I love that.
My toolbox is empty.
You stole my wrench.
I like the idea. And you know what though? I support your principles like that. I think that's a great idea. I think that you should be able to look at the whole view when you order a boiled chicken on white bread.
Well, their profit margin is so much more with me because they don't have to use any expensive spices.
Yeah. Here comes the guy with no sauce. All right, here we go.
Can I ask you a real question?
Yes.
So let's say that you have...
There were two restaurants, by the way.
You want to not support these places that don't align with you politically.
Right.
Right.
Which is totally fine. And
Totally fine.
Yeah, and I think that's... Yeah, I've done the same thing with not with just like the TVs on Fox News or something, but there are other things where I've just been like,
Okay.
No.
Here's my question: how much does it factor in how you like the food there, or you like the product? So here's the.
All right. So one restaurant, good food, above average.
That's the name of the restaurant.
And one of the two restaurants, yes. And the TV was on Fox News twice. Of the 4 or 5 times we had gone in, and then my friend Wes left, and I was like, well. It's now it's just my opinion of where we go. I'm not interested. Also, a customer in there with like Glenn Beck, like bumper stickers in the car. He drove a PT Cruiser and he had ultra right wing bumper stickers all over it. It sure was. And he like made conversation with us about whatever was on Fox News. And it was uncomfortable. And I'm like, I don't want to go back there because I don't want to run into this guy again if he patronizes this business. So it's, not entirely that business's fault.
Yeah.
Another restaurant, Fox News on television, poor customer service, food was less than adequate. So it was not.
That's an easy choice.
Yeah, it was a very easy choice to say, I'm not going to come to this restaurant again.
So here's my question.
Yeah.
You go back to Indiana twice a year.
I do.
You go to Aurelio's Pizza?
Yeah, I sure do.
You go to Boz's Hot Dogs?
Yep.
Where's the pulled beef place?
Portillo's. It's
Portillo's.
A chain.
If you went to any of those 3 and they had Fox News on, would you stop going there?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because I'm there so infrequently. And so the money I'm spending is makes less of a difference. I know, it's tough.
I understand where you're trying to balance the metric because it is it isn't a firm thing.
I'll also say I don't go to any of those places alone. So it's not just my decision.
Yeah.
That's because
true.
you're afraid
Yes.
of the dining room?
Right, yes.
That is
people.
tough. That's a tough one.
Booths and tables, who's to know?
It just, I just...
it's chaos.
That's fun.
That's just my take on it.
I understand, and I
I
appreciate that. It is tricky, and like I said, with these 2 gentlemen, they are nice.
Right.
They're professional.
Yeah.
I was talking to another comedian about this, a friend of ours.
Yeah.
Rob Pierce. I guess I'll dead name him.
Whoa.
Yeah. No, this is real.
That's his live
Pierce.
name. That's a live name.
Live name. His living name. His lave. Yeah.
His labia.
His labia. Uh-oh.
Uvula.
We got to a place.
Yep.
No, he was saying, he's like, it drives me crazy if I go to get a haircut, because I don't think he has like a dedicated barber or something like that. But he's like, whenever I get a haircut, it's like if it's somebody that seems like they're super like progressive or left or whatever it is, he's like, usually the haircut sucks. And he's like, but if I get a haircut from some guy that is the most Republican dude in the world, like super right wing, has like a 2A t-shirt on and stuff, he's like, the service is great and they do a really good job. And I'm like, I don't know if that, maybe, you know what I mean? But I do think there's an element of like the small business owner kind of thing in there. That
sure. You're taking your dollar and you're supporting the one you want to believe in.
Yeah, it's tough because it's like these guys are nice. I don't really know their politics. I'm guessing,
right?
You know, it's more for me in this situation. They're not outwardly promoting anything I disagree with.
Yeah,
I guess other than like in the conversation, their viewpoints are stuff where I'm like, ugh, you know what I mean? I don't agree with you.
Yes.
And it's that part of it makes me really uncomfortable. How do you go to a haircut place and go, I want to be a regular. Don't talk to me.
Well, I think this is a thing that people deal with for like Ubers and like that kind of thing. I think there are a lot of people who are like, I don't want to be talked to.
I have a great business idea.
The silent. What?
Uber meets barber, boober.
Okay.
Not what you think.
Yeah, we're going to get
little
some
subtitle
confusion.
It's boober, and then a little print. Not what you think.
Yeah.
And you go, you hire the car. The driver comes, cuts your hair.
Oh, okay.
Has a little thing that says, do you want to do small talk? No? Great. Just check this little box. Gives you a bottle of water and a stick of gum.
Yeah.
Cuts your hair, hops back in the car. And if you want, you can get a ride to a place, right? And the haircut lasts that long. Or they just do it and then they leave. Boober.
Silent boober.
Got it.
Silent boober.
Yeah.
Silent boober. That sounds like a wrestling move. Yo, he's in with the silent boober.
1, 2.
The whole audience.
He's tiptoeing up behind him.
Silent boober.
The silent boober.
Oh my god!
But yeah, so it is a conflict. I guess, listener, viewer, if you have a recommendation or a suggestion on how you navigate those kinds of waters with stuff like that, it is an interesting thing. I think,
sure.
I'm sure women feel the same way with their hairdressers or stylists.
Yeah.
I think it is like a cliche man thing to have like a barber relationship deal, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because like we technically have a stylist in Maddie, so it's like it's like a different situation than I think a lot of people do have. But yeah, the barber thing is like a man thing.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's weird because I feel like men in general have so few weird things that like when you think of like, what should I get my dad for Christmas?
Right.
People always think of like neckties,
Flat wallet.
like a wallet, like maybe like a mug. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But there are some things, and having a specific barber is definitely one of them.
Yeah, and I think it comes from this idea of traditionally men struggling to have like platonic male friendships,
Yeah, maybe.
and a relationship.
Yeah.
I think it does stem from this this proto thing, like generations previous to our generation.
Yes.
I think men were just like,
Yeah, me
you
too.
Don't
I know.
talk about feelings and keep it all bottled up. And so you would have this relationship with a barber. I think the stereotype in my mind, the cliche I see, is a guy who goes to a barber for decades.
Yep.
Yeah.
That barber secretly knows that man like inside and out.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
the barber dies and the guy goes to the funeral and it's just like, yeah, he was my barber, and talks about him that way. But deep down, it's like, you realize like that was your best friend, right? Like that's the cliche I see playing out in my head.
What if you started going to like an inner city barber shop?
I've done that.
Just think
The cuts are different.
Yeah. New year, new you.
I don't like the you that was new when I had it done. The haircut was good. The problem was, unbeknownst to me, he continued it down into the beard.
Okay.
And he did the beard trim that's like all underneath the neck and chin, so it looked almost like a strap. And I'm like, dude, I'm fat. Like
I need some
this
coverage.
is coverage.
Yeah, I
and
need a cape.
You're highlighting.
I need a double chin
And
cape.
it looks like I have a hair helmet, and I strapped it on.
Can I ask you about an abstract thought? I got an abstract thought.
Okay, it's all shapes and colors.
What do you think about the idea? I felt like this a lot in my life. When there's people I talk to a lot, I talk to you a lot, I talk to Brad a lot. it's very easy. Like me and Brad could drive for 6 hours and just talk the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very easy.
Yeah, like like an 83-17% split.
Yeah.
On who's doing the talking.
Yeah.
He's a chatterbox.
Oh
But,
yeah.
no, like I feel like when I talk to friends less, it's harder for me to do that. And it's weird because you'd think, well, with Brad, someone I talk to all the time, he knows everything going on in my life.
Yes,
so
I do.
you'd think there'd be less to talk about.
No, I agree.
But when you talk to someone all the time,
they're already caught up. This is my thing.
It's really strange.
There are so many people in my life that because I moved.
Yes.
Like I lived in southern Maine, then I
Right.
moved to central Maine to go to school.
Yeah.
Then I moved to Rhode Island, and
Yes.
like it's all over the place.
Right.
And those friend groups, I would talk to people less and less. I have people in my life now. I feel horrible that I don't talk to them enough.
Yeah.
And there is a part of me where it gets to a place where I like look at my phone and I'm like, maybe I should talk to them or something like that. But what I think about is I'm just going to have to catch up with like everything right now.
Yeah.
Because you talk to Brad all the time or you talk to me all the time.
Yeah.
You don't have to catch up. You don't have to tell me all the shit from the last year of your life.
Yeah.
That's brought you here. You get into stuff and we already know the stuff. We're already caught up on the story. Does that make sense?
That's yes, but there is a part of it where I feel like sometimes when I don't see someone for a while,
Yeah.
you go like, so how are things? And they're like, yeah, pretty much the same. And you go, how's the job? And they're like, pretty much, it's similar.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you go,
yeah.
so how's your wife? And he goes, she's doing pretty good. And it feels like, and then there's kind of that lull.
Yeah.
When
wait a minute. I think that person just doesn't want to talk to you, Chuck.
No.
From
But
what
I
you've
mean,
said.
like when it's almost like when you don't talk to someone for a long time, it feels like what's appropriate to talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
is big stuff.
Yeah.
But when you talk to someone all the time, I think maybe you feel more comfortable sharing the little stuff.
Oh
the
yeah, we're
everyday
down in
Yeah.
the minutia.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
But
Is that what it is?
also like the emotional stuff. You
Yeah.
can get into stuff. You're going through something. You're thinking it through.
Yes.
You can have that conversation
I'm in
with
love
a
with
person
Flavia.
that's completely caught up.
It's weird. First of all, the last haircut I got was probably in like November, December 2004.
Okay.
Because in January of 2005, my friend James Sokup shaved my head, and it's been like this
never
ever
grew back.
since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was for that meeting, right?
Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
it was more of a rally than a meeting.
Yeah. There were a lot of
great guys. A lot of great guys.
white guys. A lot of
Oh,
white
yeah, that's
guys.
what I meant to say.
Yeah. The vests were cool.
Yeah.
I thought the vests
They were like,
neat.
"Hey, put on this mask and hood," and I'm like,
Yeah.
just the mask.
I want people to see.
I
my
want people to
haircut.
see my haircut. Like,
Yeah.
my friend James Sokup did this haircut.
Yeah.
And secondly, the idea of like the conversation lulls. I had a series of dates recently, and it was some of the most challenging conversations I've had.
Wow.
Not in terms of like, wow, we're really getting into it, but it was more like, well, let me see what else. And so for me,
Yeah.
like the idea of hitting those conversational, infamously, I had the coffee date that did not go well years ago, and I got to like the 40-minute mark, and I was like, we've hit every topic you're supposed to hit on a first date. And I was like, pizza. I like pizza. What's your favorite pizza? That was how bad it got, how
Yeah.
desperate I was to
Yeah.
fill the space.
Yeah.
No.
And this connection was not happening. And, the date, she laughed at me and said, I like pizza. And I'm like, well, what's a place you like? And she, whatever she named. And I got up to we agreed it was over.
Yeah.
And I got up to put my dishes away, and I turned around and she was already walking out the door. And I'm like, wait, like how about a hug? Like, I remember parking my car at 6 p.m. We met for coffee. I got back out to my car at 6:52.
Yeah.
And it was ugh.
You met a new person.
I did meet a new
That's
person.
fun.
And
Yeah, you know about that person.
I like saying pizza. I like pizza. What's your favorite pizza? Was just so transparently desperate to find something.
Oh
man.
I love it.
Chuck wanted me to reach back out to her and say, "Hey, was everything okay? You seemed off."
No, I think you should reach out and just be like, top 3 appetizers.
Yeah.
What do you think?
See, but top 3 appetizers is a thing that Chuck would say to me in a 6-hour car drive.
Oh,
Be
yeah.
like,
The
"All right,
two of you, are you kidding me?
Make your number
Yeah.
1 appetizer plate. What would it be?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Well, mozzarella sticks." He's like, "Are you kidding me?"
I was
Those
just about to say, if you did top 3, you could start by saying yours, but by
Yeah.
the end of the conversation, it would be you going, yeah, fine, those three.
Yeah.
Yep, those are my favorite. Yeah, yep, those are
Well,
my
is it
favorite.
tableside guac or do they make it in the back of the house? What's
Yeah,
the line
I want
content?
a table side. I don't know what they're putting in the back
I like
there.
a show. I like a show. I want to see manual labor and then dip into it.
I want it to
what if
be
you could do
halfway to
hibachi?
hibachi.
Yes. What if you could do hibachi as an appetizer? What would you get? What?
I am inquisitive.
You sure are.
What?
I just picture.
Take out your little hammers. What are you gonna do?
No, nothing. He has all the hammers.
All the hammers and raise rent.
I have a visualizing magnifying glass. That's all. I see things. You say something like that. I am inquisitive, and I just picture you holding a Kalishnikov at somebody's head and just going, "I'm a curious person. I'm
very
curious as to why you don't think the same way as me."
Well, are they mozzarella sticks? Are they the flat mozzarella? Are
Yeah.
they cheese curds? What kind of fried cheese?
We got to know.
Yeah.
I do think this is a decent pivot point.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, sure.
We've talked about
Because
some-
we're talking about inquisitiveness.
well, and we're all inquisitive niece. That's my inquisitive niece. What you got going on in there? Oh, that's just my inquisitive niece.
Uncle Ray. What's
We used to call her nosy niece, but that's not.
Yeah,
she's
no.
an inquisitive niece.
Yes. You want to be
What's
supportive.
going on in here?
You want to be supportive.
Yeah.
Harry the spy.
She's gonna be a detective or a reporter.
Yeah. And this is my snitching nephew. They work in tandem. But so we've talked about some things that do stress us out. Right? This is
Sure.
a good pivot.
Yeah.
We've talked about stuff that gives us a little bit of stress.
Yeah.
And we're in the new year.
Yeah.
We're in the new year.
I don't feel any different.
I
You should. You lost your job.
That's a Death Cab for Cutie reference.
Oh.
I didn't lose my job.
Yeah. Well, did you?
Wait, what
I
happened?
gave it away.
I thought you were
I
fired.
know exactly where it is.
I thought you got fired.
No. Those
Oh.
charges were trumped up.
I haven't been paying attention.
I thought it was like a mutual splitting of ways.
Yeah, it was an amicable separation.
I thought they
It's a
gave you the option to resign.
trial separate. Yes, and I took it.
And a press release already written. You
Yes.
just had to sign.
Just sign it.
I resigned with force.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So
Sorry.
stress.
But yeah, I was thinking about this because we're post the holidays, we're into the new year.
Yeah.
And right now when we're recording this, one of the big gifts, like the prime gift that I got from my son was Lego released a like throwback set that is the Knight's Castle or whatever, the Lion
Yeah.
Knight's Castle.
Yeah.
And that came out. It's a big set. It's a $500 fucking set. And to be clear, I did not pay $500.
He had
for
his
that
assistant
set.
reach out.
Shoplifter.
No, purchaser of goods
All right.
from a long way away. Let's just say there's a whole land
Of Lego.
full of factories that are making these Lego sets.
Is it-
But they're the same exact identical set.
Is it Legoland?
Except if you look at it, instead of like on the little rivets,
Yes.
the
Yep.
little bumps, it doesn't have Lego
Yeah.
Okay.
on the bump.
Got it.
I'm a Lego pirate.
All right.
Oh, believe me, you're looking at the biggest Lego pirate.
R.
I bought
Timbers.
I'm not going to go into a big story, but I bought so many
Yeah.
that I resold them enough to buy myself a Nintendo Switch. Remember that?
I do.
Oh, there you go. See,
Yeah.
I only do it for self. I don't do it. I don't turn around. I'm not a.
Oh, I'm a
not
dealer.
a middleman.
I'm a dealer. I'm
Yeah.
a middleman.
Yeah. See, I'm just a guy.
See, if they shook me down, they'd be like, "Who is this supplier?"
So many pieces
And I'd be
would
like,
fall out of you.
AliExpress.
Don't say it out loud. But my friend Allie gets me these blocks, building block model block sets. That's me winking. Sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't even do it to camera. I was over here going, wow, wow. But so I got this set for him because when we saw it at the Lego store,
Okay.
He was excited.
he liked it. We were looking at it and we realized my son really likes Zelda. He likes Breath of the Wild. We
Yeah.
found it this year. We both played the game, fell in love with it,
Mm-hmm.
and he is a huge Zelda head. He's just a Zelda freak.
Oh, that's
this
great.
guy can't get enough of it.
All right.
Yeah.
So he's a real Hyrule head.
Yeah.
And so I looked at that set and I went, what would be really cool? You could take the castle set, and it does look very similar to like a Hyrule castle.
Yep.
And you could modify it with like translucent, like purple and pink
Sure.
pieces to
Yep.
put the blight on there and stuff
Ooh,
like
yeah.
that. And so I was being like, I felt like, yeah, I'm being like the best dad right now. I bought those translucent pieces separately.
Yeah.
I ordered the castle set, got it all in, and had him open the translucent pieces first for Christmas.
Right.
And he's like, oh, okay. I'm like, no, open this one now. You know what I mean? And it was a big surprise. So I'm currently building that because he's at the age, he's 8, where he likes them.
Yeah.
He likes to build a smaller set, but the bigger ones, he's like, yeah, you can do that. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, of course, yeah.
But we're going to modify it together.
Right.
So it's a big fun thing. That's all to say, I've been building this Lego set at night.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
I have now been carving out time and looking forward to it so much. And I realized I did it with the Lego DeLorean set.
Yep.
So much so that I asked my son, of these sets, which one do you like the most that you would want me to build that you can have?
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
that was the whole thing. And I've been doing this. I'm addicted to making these Lego sets. I like the process of building it.
Okay.
If there was a service where they send me the most complicated build, I put it together and then just smash it down and send it back
Right.
for a nominal fee, I would do it every week. I love it.
Yeah.
I listen to a podcast and I build. And that's
Interesting.
what I do. And here's the phrase, it zens me out.
Oh.
It is a zen thing. The only other thing I have that's close to that is video games.
Okay.
If I play a single player story based game, like God of War, Witcher, Mass Effect, like those kinds of Fallout, all those things, that will zen me out. It allows me to focus just enough on a thing that I'm not. My mind's not wandering.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going somewhere else. Like if I watch a movie or a show,
Right.
I can wander.
Me too.
My brain
or
goes,
read.
Yeah,
Read is the biggest
sure.
one
Yeah,
for me.
it goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'll be like through like 2 pages, and I'll
you'd
just be like,
oh yeah, I don't remember anything I read.
I have been thinking about something else. Right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
oh,
and
all the time.
it's it's weird. And but video games and Legos, building the Lego set is the same like level of attention.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the pieces in the pile. Okay, let me follow this. Let me put that together. It zens me out. And I've been saying that phrase for so long. It used to only be video games.
Yeah.
Where if I was really stressed about comedy and career stuff, I would get into another game. And I would just play this game until it was done.
Yeah.
And then I would be done. And I'd be good for a while. So I wanted to bring this to the table after this monologue. I'm sorry. But I do want to know about this idea of zenning out, this idea of just enough focus on a thing where you can put the other stuff away.
Right.
And at the beginning of the year, isn't that a good thing to talk about, folks?
What do you say, Brad?
Give you the tools to tackle 2023.
I don't. It's tough because I think about. First of all, do jigsaw puzzles have the same effect because it's similar but not the same?
I've tried a jig.
Right.
I've tried a jig.
Yeah. Well, who hasn't?
Yeah. I mean, we went through a pandemic.
Yeah.
I tried a jig.
Yeah.
My wife and I made a couple.
By the way, I did one jig in the entire pandemic in all of
jig.
lockdown.
I did no jig.
50
No
piece.
jig.
50-piece Star Wars puzzle. That was it.
50 piece? That's not a jig.
It was a gift. I
That's
think,
a
from
child's
buddy.
toy.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely was. I re-gifted it to a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kid's like, this is easy.
Yes.
You're like, that took me 7 days.
Yeah.
The jigsaw puzzle thing, I think it's just too monotonous to me. Like, looking for blue sky pieces, like that kind of stuff. There's not enough satisfaction in it, I think, for whatever reason. Yeah, a jig can't get me there.
Okay, but a Lego.
I can't finish with a jig. You know what I mean?
Of course, of course.
But Lego is more, it is like a puzzle.
Right.
But it's more intricate and it's more you're seeing the process of a build.
And what about like models, like either a car or a Gundam or whatever?
Yeah, I've
Is that
never
too much?
tried it.
Okay.
I've never tried it, although I've been super interested.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of YouTube videos
Got it.
of people making like dioramas or like little things that do fascinate me. I would like to do that kind of thing. It seems interesting to me,
Yeah.
especially the ones where like they make a scene and pour like epoxy stuff in it.
Yeah.
And it's clear acrylic and it's like a whole thing. That's
Yeah.
super cool. People make scenes of like there's a monster in the
Really?
lake. Yeah, that's great. You watch one YouTube video of it, and they'll be in your feed forever, and that's fun. Here's the problem: I think I would suck at painting the tiny little things, the details of paint. When I was a kid and I did models, putting it together, awesome.
Yeah.
As soon as the paint job came, I'm like, fucking spray paint it. You know, who cares? It's all one color. It's fine.
Yeah.
That would get to me, and then also I feel like the buy-in for model making.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is so high. Anytime I see one of those videos, it's like, well, first we're gonna do this, and it's like you just used like $300 worth of stuff to make that little thing, right? It's so expensive. But a great question.
I'm like, I think the last Lego set I did, it was before I went to Chuck's for Thanksgiving. I went to a different friend's house and we had a centerpiece making competition.
Okay.
And, like a lighthearted.
Yeah.
But I did an Indiana Jones Lego set as my centerpiece for Thanksgiving dinner. It did not win.
What was it doing?
There was a thing you could tip and snakes would fall down.
Oh, okay. All right. So he was being Indiana Jones. He wasn't. Not the Indiana Jones that we know.
It had zero to do with the holiday. It had zero to do with the script that never got published.
Yep.
It was me being.
You had a Lego word bubble that said, "How old are you?"
Yes. I guess for me, reading is as close as I get to zenning out. But I think
What about your crossword puzzles?
Crossword puzzles to me, because they're timed, are I got to get this done. I got to be faster than last week.
But does that? I think what Ray's talking about is it zens you out from your actual real anxieties, and you get sucked into a thing that takes over that.
Or have you made it another anxiety?
I think I excel at making all these things other anxieties.
Like there was a phone game that I acquired during the demi.
Yeah.
And it's a Star Wars like turn-based fighting game.
Ooh, yeah.
And I got into it during the pandemic. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yep.
And I was like, this is good. It gives me something to look forward to every day.
Yep.
Right? And during this time where no one was going anywhere. It's like, you got to go on at these times if you want to get these things.
That was, I played Marvel Strike Force.
Yeah, it's like that.
For a year and a half, I never spent money on it.
Right.
But I was definitely like, I'm like waking up and I'm like, first thing in the morning, do this. Last thing at night, do that. Oh, I got my raid. I got to help my guild.
But
all
that's
these things.
what's happened to me now. I still have the game, but now I've gotten further away from it.
Right.
But I still do feel this thing of like, oh my God, I haven't gone on the game in like a day and a half. I got to go through and do all the requirements. I'm like, this is just a job now.
Yes, that's exactly what it became. And I was like, I don't want to let down the people in my guild, on my Discord.
They'll kick me out of the guild if I don't do the thing. That's just a new stress. I got to get rid of that game. Delete your addictive game on your phone. It's only killing you. Those games are designed to make you a fucking lab rat. Delete the game.
Yeah.
You will be happier. If I had balls, I'd do it in front of you right now.
I think crosswords, I have made it into more than it is. I still enjoy doing them. I don't know how much it zens me out as much as like, okay, I have to keep my streak going. That's how Wordle was. That's how Quordle was.
Yes, but see,
global.
You're taking these things and you're creating
my own
hurdles to enjoyment.
I think it's like Fallout or Skyrim. A big open world game like that is one that I can lose hours in and not realize that it has been hours.
Right.
Where it's the
Breath
one
of
more
the Wild.
quest mentality. Yes.
Yeah.
Although after a while, Breath of the Wild was like, okay, I need to find all 120 shrines, so let me get a walkthrough and just walk through and just tick these things off.
In video games is the death of joy.
I just finished a book called Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson, one of the 5 books he's going to publish this year. And it talks in the book about doing something physical and how that frees up your mind. In this case, it's like scrubbing the deck of a pirate ship, and so she can think, and that it's basically when you want to think, do something physical because that frees up your mind. Yeah, something repetitive and physical because it frees up your mind to think.
Yeah.
But if you have a job that involves, for example, sitting at a desk and thinking all day, then your mind doesn't get to be creative and fun.
Yeah,
and I'm like, yep, that's my experience as well. Like, I probably had like the most fun ideas when I did electrician's work in 1999 or whatever. And but as far I'm not good at relaxing. I'm not good at vacationing. I'm not good at turning my mind off at all. And so I'm like, maybe I should get some Lego compatible blocks.
Yeah, do it.
And see if that helps or works.
There's something about it, and like I felt okay about getting the Lego sets that I did. I decided I'm only gonna like the things I'm gonna do for me building.
Right.
I'm only gonna do film and TV vehicles.
Yeah.
Those seem to be very like I had the DeLorean, so I was just like I'll continue this streak, and I did like the Batmobile and stuff like that. And the only way I can do it is with my secret little hookup. AliExpress.
Yep.
Because then I can afford it, right? Like they're wildly
for me,
expensive.
And then what do I do with it when it's done? Where
I know,
does
I
it
have
go
a
when
shelf,
it's done?
and I'm like, but I'm gonna run out. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be that guy. But the way I look at it, the reason I'm okay with it is I'll only do certain sets.
Yeah.
That it's like, does this look fun to build?
Right.
Yes.
Because that's what I care about. That's what I'm buying it for. And is it $60 or less?
Right.
Because that's the cost of a video game.
Yep.
And I will likely get close to the same amount of enjoyment time-wise as the video game. And I also, I stretch it out. I take my time with these sets. I look at it, I'm like, here are the bags. Here are the bags. This bag is going to get done tonight. I'm going to do this whole bag. Take my time with it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, that bag's going to get done. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of thing. But, there's something about, like, the attention is just enough where you can't think about the things that are bothering you or you circle back to. Just enough where you do feel like you had a mental break from it.
Yes.
Before that stuff, like video games and Legos, I used to do like stencil graffiti stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I never did it like illegally or on walls or anything like that. It was all canvas and vinyl records.
Right.
When I was in college, I did that. That was the thing that I would do.
Yeah.
And so like every night, like my wife would end up being asleep, in our apartment, and I would be in the 3-season room, like meticulously cutting out with an X-Acto knife these very intricate stencil concepts that I was working on, and then I would be in there with my fucking mask on and spraying like crazy and doing that stuff. And I was only doing it. I'm like, I don't care about the final product.
Right.
It's the act of doing this thing.
Yeah.
It's that playing guitar kind of does that for me.
Yeah.
Only I can very quickly stop focusing on the guitar.
Yeah.
Guitar is a gateway where I'm like, this is fun, and I'm relaxing.
Noodle,
I'm zenning
noodle.
out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh no, now I'm thinking about everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What Chuck? You've been pretty quiet. What about you? What zens Chuck Staten out?
So this is interesting. So, and this is such a boring answer, but I think
we've all the jokes have kind of gone, but I think this is good. This is mental health. Okay,
It's important, people.
You got to take care of the biggest muscle in your body.
so. There is something.
What?
There is something I'm trying to figure out.
Thank you for paying off the site.
As I get older, I am trying to what I would refer to as fix certain things about myself and look at myself and say, how can you be a better person? How can you be a better human being?
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily mean outwardly to the world, but like one of them has been like losing weight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and like I just recently went to the doctor, and specifically, we actually talked about this.
Yes.
I went to the doctor, and I got I make them, because I'm very paranoid, I make them do like 1 million tests on me. Like, whatever that is normal for a 38-year-old man, just do all the upcoming stuff. And I had like the
Pregnant.
best. The best like test results of my whole life of everything, and I put it into a spreadsheet, and I'm like, this is going to become one of my things. One of my Zen things is I, like Brad, I make spreadsheets.
I was just going to ask about this.
I make spreadsheets about things,
But is that Zen or is that coping?
no, it's no, because here's a lot of the spreadsheets I'll make. I'll make a spreadsheet like this. I'll say, man, what are my favorite movies? And I'm like, well, let me make a list of all the movies that I like. And I'll start making a list. And I'll be like, well, is this my favorite? Is this my favorite? This? And I'll start making a second column. And I'll put like, well, this one's comedy, this one's action, this one's drama. And then I'll make a third column that's like, this is definitely my top 5. This one's in my top 10. This one's in my top 20. And the act of doing that, it definitely takes my focus to a certain degree.
I guess that would take your
And it makes you think about it, and it feels in some way productive. It feels like you're thinking about things in a way that you don't have to think about them.
It must be comforting to look at the list when it's done and go, I cataloged this thing.
Right.
here is the finished product of that cataloging, because that's part of the appeal of like the Lego thing. When I'm done, I can look at what I did.
Right.
With a video game, it's less that. You
It's
can
less
look
you can
at it and
feel
go,
it.
I finished it.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
me, I do a lot of that stuff, and like I have realized now that I like it, because I didn't realize I liked it. I just used to do it all the time and
Yeah.
just justify it like I'm organizing, I'm
But
doing stuff.
once you did that spreadsheet on what you enjoy, you were like, oh,
Yes.
it came out as number
it was
one.
here right in front of me the whole time.
But I'll make a spreadsheet of like what are all my favorite video games for every system, and I'll make a column, and I'll even do like if this column is Super Nintendo, let's make the background gray and make the actual letters
Oh,
like
man.
purple, and I'll do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I will let myself fall into this is what I like. I mean, it's more fun when when I did the Lego compatible
Yeah,
minifigures.
yeah.
I made a spreadsheet of everything I bought, everything I sold it for,
Yeah.
how much I made, to know how much I could spend on buying myself the Nintendo Switch.
Sure, yeah.
So that makes more sense. It's a little bit more financial, obviously.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
still, it's just a spreadsheet and like a look at what I did thing.
Yeah.
So I think making spreadsheets is one of my dumb ones.
It's interesting because the spreadsheet thing, because of the cataloging, for some reason, to me, floats less away from it floats away from Zen and goes towards like mania, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Because it feels like the stereotype of like a crazy person, and you go into their home and they have all the stacks, like the newspapers they've been saving, and then they have notebooks of just like, these are the things that I ate, these are the top things,
Well,
this is the best vine-based fruit, this is, you know what I mean?
I think so,
Grapes.
except here's
Grapes. I'll show you my spreadsheet.
well, here's what's an interesting thing. We've been doing the podcast since 2009.
Yeah.
So in some way, and I don't know if Brad can speak
I'm sorry
to
I
this.
was so late.
It's okay.
I don't know if Brad can speak to this, but in some way, when I make my top video game list,
Yeah.
I'm like, somehow maybe this can be part of what we're doing for podcasting
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
When it comes to favorite movies or favorite whatever, it can become part of this conversation.
And I said this when we were talking about the best things of the year stuff
Yeah.
that we're gonna do,
Yeah, we're talking about doing our favorite things of the year, like movies, video games, books, television.
that you guys have previously called the Brammies and Chammies.
Yes.
And now adding Ray, the R Hammies.
Ron Ham.
Right.
And I mean, it's wild. The name is wild. But anyway,
And I'll give you the backstory of the name when we do our first Funbearable.
I think it makes sense. I think
Yeah.
the initial name, Brammies and Chammies, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it started
And
out
then
as just the Brammies.
And then once you get into
There's
adding
three of
the
us.
third person and it's our hammy, it's like, what are we doing here? But my point is this: like I knew going into that when you guys brought that up to me, and then you sent me the meticulous list of things that you do give out these titles to.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah. They already know all their shit, and they can just go back to their spreadsheets and refer to the year. For me, I'm like, okay, what?
No. But here's the
this
problem. though.
Year?
That's me now. Like I'll make a spreadsheet once in a while.
Yeah.
Of like something like favorite video games, whatever. But I've gotten
jizz by volume.
I've gotten. We used to
JBB.
make. Both of us used to make. We used to make like media of the year spreadsheets where we did stay on top of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I got out of that years ago, and I'm so bad. I'm the exact
Yeah.
same thing as you. Like yesterday, I said to Brad, I'm like, hey, whatever you have for your list of movies,
Yeah.
please just send it to me so I can go through it and say which ones of these did I watch too? Because I'm also the same as you. I'm not good at being meticulous about it,
Uh-huh.
and I probably only fall into making a spreadsheet 4 times a year at the most, and it's kind of like a minimal one.
Yeah.
But there is something inside me. This is why I brought up that wanted to be a better person. Much like Brad, I'm bad at relaxing. So it's hard for me to zen out doing something unless I can justify it as productive to myself.
Yeah,
Sure,
I
yeah.
think about. I went to an art show several months ago. I think it was the Outsider Collective, based in Pawtucket, and went in, and they have all these paintings that their people had done, and I'm like, I don't want a painting I can just hang on the wall. like, let me get a notebook or something with a drawing of a cat on it, because then the art has functional utility. And then I was like, oh no, that's not what art is supposed to do. What's wrong with me?
Yeah, so this is the other thing I was going to say that zens me out, that happens way more often, like multiple times a week. If I have extra time, it is time to organize and clean. And that's what I like to do. Like this weekend, I was like, my editing projects are caught up. I'm caught up on this. You know, I'm kind of still in my holiday break mode because the main people I work for are not back to work yet. So I'm not filming right now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I went to like Target. I was just telling Brad about this. I bought all these organizational bins.
He was so happy.
I'm going under my bathroom sinks. I'm taking everything out. I'm putting it all in a row. Here's all my Clorox. Here's my cleaners. I'm putting it in this. And I'm making everything in my homes more organized so that everything is easier to access later. I have more knowledge about what I have. And all of that zens me out.
The bleach is easy to reach from the bed.
It zens me out.
Yeah.
And not only does it zen me out and I'm focusing on something, but it feels productive to me. So it feels like a good use of my time. And sometimes I fall into video games, much less than I used to. I wish I did. I love playing video games, but it's rare. And even so, for me, it's spreadsheet making, cleaning and organizing, which could be my car, my houses. And then I love playing retro video games. That helps me. I like playing older stuff that's really simple. Where you're kind of like, jump, do this. Like the stuff for like playing, like, let's say Grand Theft Auto or the newer games like that are a little bit more, you know, you're thinking about what you're doing and making decisions. When I'm playing Super Mario World or like old beat 'em ups, it's so much more like you really can turn your brain off and just enjoy it. And that falls into it for me.
It is interesting too, like like the lifestyle differences, I think are probably an element of this, right? Like I'm thinking about it because when I refer to zenning out, to me personally, it's because I overthink everything.
Yes.
And I will just get caught up in that. And my work for a decade has been stand-up comedy, filmmaking stuff, and doing those things. Whatever other comedy-based projects, it's solo. I don't have to punch in. I don't have to do any of that stuff. But that can leave me in a place where whatever project is going on, I'll just be thinking about that for weeks and weeks and weeks while I'm doing it.
Me too.
Like, Be a Man, it took my entire mind for 2 years. It was just what I was doing. Or if I'm doing stand up and there's something, or if I'm in a dark place and I'm feeling bad about what's going on, or I'm uncertain because I am on a path where there's nothing in front of me. You know what I mean? There's no path to follow. That kind of thing can eat away at me so much that this value of being able to shut it off, because like I've talked about this with other friends, like you can have a day job that you hate, but if you go home at the end of that day, that's there. Right. Agreed. And the hard part is I love what I'm doing, but it's stressful. It's anxiety inducing. There's existential dread swirling in my head at all times. This is very easy to apply to that existential dread.
For sure.
And it's like, how do I escape this cycle?
Totally.
And those things that zen me out allow me to pull away from that stuff.
That's how I feel too.
Yeah. And the hard part is, I think too, I'm a parent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have a child. So my downtime is drastically different. Right? Like, I think that's a part of it. I don't know what aspect is there or what effect that has necessarily.
Right.
All I know is I view the end of the day if I'm home, when my son goes to bed, I see a period of time after that where I hang out with my wife. Maybe we watch a show or a movie, or we do whatever. And then she goes to bed, and then that period of time from when she goes to bed to when I go to bed, that's like the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, if I am gonna zen out, it'll be then. Often I end up on the phone talking to you, or talking to like Lee Leshin, producing partner, or another comedian, or working on stuff, or editing, or doing whatever. So those moments where I'm like, I'm in a game and I'm looking forward to it and I like these things. are super valuable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Totally, absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
very similar for me. You know, I was in a relationship for 8 years until about a year ago, but it was that thing where it's like the day was for your job, whatever that is. For me, it was obviously filmmaking mostly, and then it was like, okay, my girlfriend's out of work. We're spending time together until she goes to bed, so that takes precedence.
Yeah,
and then I have a 2.5 to 3 hour window of I get to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that's when I would want to focus on the stuff that just feeds me relaxing.
That's why, like, if you'll text me in the evening, I'm always just like, I can do whatever after 10:30.
Yeah.
Yes,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? That's
Exactly
it.
right. Yeah.
Or if somebody tries to call or text during the day from like 3:30 to 7:30, I'm like, my kid. This is all my kid time. You know what I mean? It's insane. Why would you even ask me? You know what I mean? I get upset. But it is a weird thing. There's something about the Zen aspect of it. And I say Zen because it's about applying just enough of your thought process to allow the other shit to fall away.
Yes.
It's not meditation, but it's close to it.
Yes.
And the Lego thing reminds me of Matt Stone, Trey Parker and Matt Stone from South Park, the creators of South Park.
Yep.
They famously, when they are working on the show, which is like an intense show, the turnaround's very quick. You know, they did the documentary.
Yeah.
They build Legos.
Yep.
When they're stuck or they're in a place where they're just trying to get through a process of a thing, they build a Lego set.
Right.
Yes.
And I saw that and I was like, oh, okay, I'm not crazy. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
And I heard Paul F. Tompkins, another comedian, say the same exact thing about video games that I was trying to articulate to my wife years ago.
Yeah.
And he was like, I play video games because it allows me to focus just enough on the. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
So I do think there's something there.
Oh, totally.
What is that, though?
I don't
You know what I mean?
I think it's the fact that, you know how you were talking about the idea of doing a repetitive physical thing allows your mind to wander?
Yes.
Yeah.
This essentially reels it in, like you're saying, just enough so that you don't go into the places you don't want to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I wish I had a more productive version of it.
I don't know. I think about in 2020, the world shut down, and then I had a relationship not work out, and I was not in a great headspace mentally. And I reread books I had previously read so I could be engaged in the plot, which was, familiar. And I had read these books 8 or 9 years before.
These are bodice rippers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bodice parts just
Danielle
all over the
Steele.
place. It was. And
A lot of swelling and entering.
yes, things were turgid.
Yes.
Or tumescent. And so I read the books, and I paid attention enough to advance the plot, but not so much that I was looking for hidden meanings or caring about symbolism, because I had already read them. So I knew what happened. I know things are going to work out at the.
Her vagina
Yep.
is her inability to let go of the death of her sister. It makes so
You get
much
it.
sense.
Yeah, you read the same
So
one.
when he rips it up,
Yep.
he literally is allowing her to move on from grief.
Yeah. Chuck wrote that book. The hero.
Oh, then I'm reading too much into it. I
Yeah.
think.
Yes.
Can I say a really interesting thing? You just said you wish they had a little bit more productivity.
And there's a part of me that's like, that's not what it's for.
Yeah.
I feel the opposite way.
Yeah.
I wish I could relax with things that didn't have productivity.
Right, because your stuff is all about being productive.
It's all about being
and
productive,
mine
and that's
is
the way.
not.
It's almost
Yeah.
like I'm telling myself, you need to justify time you're spending away from work,
Right.
and
Yes.
by doing other productive things. And I want, when I talk about becoming a better person, part of that is saying, what should be leisure to me? What should be a hobby or a vacation from that kind of stuff?
Croquet.
And should I get like should I find a way to have a healthy distance from just being productive 24/7?
Right.
And I think about, and then this is weird, I've never really talked about this. My dad, for sure, is like a crazy workaholic.
Yes.
My dad started a company probably when he was like 29, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so.
And or
Chuck-
maybe 27.
Chuck has a dad with stick-to-itiveness.
Well, so
Sees things through.
So,
Must be nice.
so let's say he started his company in his mid to late 20s, and by the time I came along, his company is very small, and throughout my life, his company has grown,
Yeah.
which is really positive for him. He really cares about it. He has a connection to the community. It's a landscaping company, and he's built a company that basically supports like 10 families. You know what I mean? We have a lot of employees. It's really great. And seeing him do that probably subconsciously made me feel more comfortable saying, well, I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
But I know that what he does is gets up at 5 a.m, gets in his desk, works until 9, goes to the greenhouse, gives all his employees the stuff, drives around to all the places all day, comes home, has dinner with my mom, spends
Hides
time.
the cocaine in the planters.
She goes to bed, and he goes back downstairs and falls asleep working all the time.
Yeah.
And like there's a positive aspect to that because you could be, addicted to worse things.
Sure.
But there's a negative aspect to that too. Yep. And I think that I have that as part of me. And the fact that what I do, which is often filmmaking, editing, podcasting, all the stuff that I enjoy, it makes the line between what is work and what is the thing that you like to do.
Yeah.
It makes that really blurry. So me feeling like a workaholic or someone accusing me of that feels difficult for me to really figure out because I'm like, yeah, but I like what I do. And it's like, it's still your work.
Yeah.
So it's very tough.
It's really strange. And especially in this wheelhouse of work, right? Like for me as a stand-up, I talk about this with other comics all the time. This idea of people viewing what you do and being like, "Oh, you travel all the time. You go to these interesting places. That's cool. That's fun." But the reality is, it's like, no. I go to the airport area of that place.
Yeah,
and I see those things. And I go to a Target if I need a thing, or I go to this place. And it's like, I'm not on vacation. I'm working.
I know.
If I'm lucky, I can squeeze in a few things here and there, or a certain situation will come up where I find myself in a place where I'm like, this is kind of like a vacation.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But those are so few and far between.
Oh, yeah.
The last one that was like truly that was being in Akumal, Mexico for the Akumal Comedy Festival.
Yes.
But that was such a rarity where it's like, okay, so, this person wants me there, has financially made it so I can be, and I get to have fun all day with all these comedians and then go do shows that are fun and we're all going to them. There's no competition.
Right.
We're just having a good time.
Right.
Is such a rare thing. And being like, I'm staying in the house that the Grateful Dead had built in Akumal, and I'm sleeping in like the nice room, and I think this might have been Jerry's. That's all cool and great.
Yeah.
But then there's the other part of it where the last like real vacation thing that was big that my wife and I did was before my son was born. And we were in London, and I talk about that. We went twice, 2 weeks each time.
Yeah.
The first time I did a shit ton of comedy. I wanted to do as much stand-up as possible. It was kind of a hybrid. Well, this is the only time I'm going to be able to afford to come out here and do shows for, £10.
Yep.
And the second time we were there, I had like a mental not breakdown, but like epiphany moment.
Okay.
I had an aha, right? I had a realization, like a self-actualization moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Where I had booked all these shows and I was stressed out about fitting in the shows because I really just wanted to spend time and have fun in the city with my wife and enjoy it.
Have a cup of tea.
Have a cuppa.
Have a spot of tea.
Oh.
Have a spot of tea. Have a cuppa.
Yep.
Right? Quite lovely.
Yep.
Anyway, but I remember we were going to
Shag the Queen.
Wait.
Snog the Queen?
Well, that's more appropriate, but still not great.
Very old. She's very old.
Yeah.
Was. Yeah. Still is.
I'm too old for shagging, but not for snogging.
Keep it above the waist.
You can feel my tits. What?
Whoa. Keep it above the waist. It's like an old mine down there. Anyway.
Yep.
It's like the Blitzkrieg down there. It still hasn't been. Oh, it was razed to the ground. slowly turning into Mrs. Doubtfire. So anyway, R.I.P. Mrs. Doubtfire, the Queen. I remember we were going to a club that was it was like near the London Eye, Parliament, all that stuff. It was in that area.
Ye old chuckle hut.
Yeah, ye oldie chuckles huts. And to do your bits.
Yeah.
Do your chuckles and your bits. Make a bit of Barney. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you doing your chuckles? Like that's someone making fun of you. They don't like you.
Oh, okay.
That guy's from Liverpool.
Wow. I knew the Beatles. There was more than one. No, just the Beatles. Anyway, regardless, so we're heading there. I'm stressed out. It's fucking pissing rain.
Yeah.
And we're in the tube station, and we're right at the stop, and we're going up the stairs, and we've got our umbrellas, and I'm already thinking like, oh, I hope I don't get like soaked because I have to go on stage. I don't have like I don't have a raincoat on right now. I'm wearing what I'm going to wear on stage. And I'm picturing the rest of the night. I have 2 shows at this club, and I'm like, I'm going to meet these comics for the first time. We're going to talk. They're going to ask me about America stuff. I'm going to ask them about English stuff. I'm going to talk to the booker. The booker's going to lay things out. I'll be nervous because it's a new place for me. I don't know this and all that stuff. But that'll go away, and then I'll do the show. Then I'll kick around. I'll also make sure I spend some time with Kalina because I don't want to be an asshole. And I just saw it all lay out in front of me. And like her and I are like bickering because I'm tense and she's tense, and it's just a thing.
Yeah.
And I got halfway up those stairs, and I just stopped, and I went, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not. This isn't what it's for.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm miserable in a place I want to be, doing a thing I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this. And it was the first time in my entire career up to that point where I had said, I'm going to put all of myself into stand-up comedy, where I said, sometimes I have to back up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
It's really weird. And so I called, I canceled, and it was fine.
Yeah.
I burned that bridge, London Bridge. And I canceled the other shows, and that was fine. Nobody was pissed off about that. But I kept one show at the end of the trip at a place I had done before that I had a lot of fun with.
Yeah.
And I had a great time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed myself.
Wow.
Because I created that barrier. And I said, this time I want to just be on vacation.
Right.
And I'm glad I did, because that was 10 fucking years ago that we did that, and I haven't been on vacation since.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think my last, non-family vacation was our Disney trip in 2013, 14, whatever it was.
You went to Europe for a thing. You said it was a midsummer?
Yeah.
Was that what it was?
Yeah. I was named the Midsommar Queen.
Yeah.
The friends that went with me.
Where are they?
There was Chad, Tad,
Vlad.
Yes.
Your dad?
Yes.
Founder of the company that makes Glad trash bags?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Howard Bosley. No,
there is a tough thing about the idea of you and I specifically following this career path of the unknown and the creative stuff that is never guaranteed.
Yeah.
Where I think
most people don't achieve anything.
So that's the thing. And I think that there is this weird pressure on people that are in these fields to constantly feel like, oh, am I comfortable and sure of this for like absolutely 100%?
Yeah.
And you never feel that way. So every time you're not working towards a goal in that field,
You're actively failing.
Yeah, you feel guilty.
Yeah.
You feel like you're making a bad choice. You feel like you're doing the wrong thing.
And I have a family.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I've said this millions of times, but like I am either working on comedy and feeling super guilty about not being with my family, or I'm with my family feeling super guilty I'm not working on comedy.
Right. Yeah.
It's awful. And I do think in the entertainment field, definitely for stand-up comedy, and I think it does apply to the other aspects of the entertainment industry as a whole, but for stand-up comedy, it has been a thing drilled into every stand-up where it's like, if you want to do this, you have to put 130 million%
Right.
into this thing, or you aren't doing it right.
Right.
You're a piece of shit if you aren't sacrificing every single ounce of yourself.
Yeah.
To the altar of stand-up comedy. You have to ruin every relationship you have.
Yep.
You have to put yourself in this place, and it's the suffering artist, right?
Right.
It's that vision that we have of the suffering artist. And it's really strange. Stand-up comedy, it's like drilled into comics where it's like, you know, like, yeah, you're not going to have relationships. It's going to be hard to find a person that understands what you're
Right.
doing.
Yes,
You're going to go
right.
through a million of them. You're going to be alone.
Yeah.
You're going to be miserable. You're going to be full of angst and angry and stuff like that.
Right.
And a bitter person.
Yes.
And it's truly drilled into comics. I remember starting and it was just like, yeah, you got to give up everything. You
Yeah.
have to do it. And if there's a show offer, you go. And if they're fucking you, you say thank you for fucking me.
Yeah.
And
if you have to miss your mom's funeral, then you miss your mom's funeral.
Yeah.
Right? Like stuff like that.
There are weddings I haven't gone to,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've missed so many moms' funerals.
Yeah.
So many moms' funerals. I'm sorry to the children of those moms. I couldn't make it. I had a guest spot to do.
Yes.
I had a guest spot at the Giggle Chutney. I don't know.
The giggle and listen, the guy that books the Giggle Chutney, he's a piece of shit. He is a piece of shit.
Notoriously
and he has-
long memory.
Yeah, and he has a history.
Yeah.
But it is-
that's not okay.
But it is the
But
best
he
15-seat
can-
room in Tennessee.
Yes, and he can get you into the L level room in Des Moines.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
once you're there,
Yeah. Easy. Do you
Yeah.
think it's similar to the idea of like a young lawyer who's putting in all these hours?
Yeah.
But once I make partner, it's
Yeah.
going to change. Do you think it's got the same attitude?
I think it is, except it's a lot more difficult to figure out where the change is. I think it's not a day.
I'll say this. I think it is very similar to that. The biggest difference is that lawyer who's going to make partner is making money.
Oh,
you know what I
okay,
mean?
yeah.
They are making money. The
Right.
difference is the comedian who's like, one day I'm going to do it, you know,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. They are fucking broke. You know what I mean? Like it's weird. I don't know. There's a toxicity to that mentality. And I think we are coming, this is interesting. I can't believe we're here on Funbearable.
Yeah.
Getting to this place. But I do think generationally, like starting with millennials, and it'll definitely be with Gen Z, I do think there's a clear shift of valuing your personal life and time over career.
I do think so too.
And it's clear. There are statistics that show it. And I do think millennials and on are turning away from that idea. It's hard though, because it's like we also live in America, like the capitalist place.
Right.
Well, this is
know?
this is one of the things. I mean, maybe this is kind of too heady, but it's really interesting because if you look at the timeline of the way that people work, if you look at something that's like, let's say pre 2000, most people are accepting that they work for other people, and people going into the field of entertainment, you know, obviously has grown. But after the rise of the internet and how you can now it's monetized in different ways, you can make money from Instagram reels and all these different things. I think the amount of people who think I'm going to work for myself doing something and carve out my own path is probably up by so much from 25 years ago.
Oh yeah, I think
Right?
the internet is a tool that people have been using for that, which has another thing in it, and hopefully we can get to that.
I was going to say just the idea that there's so many more people doing that.
Yeah.
However, the truth is the people who are killing themselves and are spending every second focusing on that things, on that whatever thing they're pursuing, are the ones who will get ahead.
Yes.
Yeah,
And those are the ones that will succeed.
Right.
So the people that are going, even though there's so many more people going towards that, the people who are like, no, I need a good work-life balance, are likely the people who will fail.
Right, because now we've come to a place. This is what I was going to say with the internet, and I do have something else to say about that shift at the end of the 90s. But where we are with the internet, we've replaced, I'm doing it for myself now.
Yeah.
And we've replaced like your dad working his whole waking life.
Yeah.
Now it's, I'm my own person, or I'm going to be an influencer, or whatever it is, or stand-up comics. There are plenty of comics
Same
that are
thing,
falling
yeah.
into this thing.
Right.
We now have adopted grind culture.
Yeah.
You got to get on that grind because we are doing this on the internet, and social media and the internet. When we say the internet, we're talking about social media, and YouTube and stuff like that. It all values the algorithm.
Yes.
Right.
And the algorithm only values quantity.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Because the algorithm exists to keep people in.
Yes.
And if you're going to keep people in, you need new things in front of them.
Yes.
And so quantity
Yes.
is the biggest value.
Right.
Not
Yes.
quality, not thoughtfulness, not anything. Just do it more and louder and go.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I do think that has created this grind culture.
Yes.
Of for anybody, and especially in the entertainment industry and like stand-up comics, of like, well, you got to have 3 podcasts. You better be putting out 4 stand-up clips a week.
I
You
know.
have to do this.
Yeah.
You have to do that. You got to have a character on Instagram that you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're not doing any of those things, what are you doing? Stand-up comedy?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And it's crazy. David Attell, years back, I remember him saying, I feel bad for comics that are coming up now because they have to find time to write jokes.
Yes.
And it's true. But the thing about the 90s that I wanted to say, that shift,
Yeah.
I think the internet came along at that time and rose and gave them the tool to start pursuing the grind culture.
Right.
But the reason that like millennials and beyond are turning away, I think a big part of that is towards the end of the 90s, into the 2000s, we had, like, especially in the early 2000s, we had crash, financial instability.
Yep.
Right.
And I remember getting close to graduation time in college when all the shit fell apart. The housing bubble,
Yeah.
and then all of the people losing jobs and doing that stuff. And I remember like being in a class towards the end of school and somebody talking about, like the professor talking about the idea that basically we were fucked because all of the entry level positions that you would take coming out of school are being taken by the people that should be retiring,
Yep.
moving to a new field.
Yeah.
And so
Wow,
and
yeah.
that's what was going on. So I think our generation was the first generation that saw, like, Gen X checked out of stuff. That's their label. Like, hey, we check out, whatever. And then they just adopted boomer stuff. You know what I mean? They just became boomers.
Right.
Millennials, I think, classic.
Yes.
Classic beige boomer.
Yes.
The beige boomers.
That's your bowling league.
Yes.
But no,
Well, after we get a strike.
yeah. Oh, you hate strikes.
Yeah.
Boomer, no,
Yeah.
no. You call them scabs.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, I do think that we were the first generation. And I'm not saying that in a proud way. I think our generation, other people saw this, but as a
Yeah,
whole,
right.
collectively, I think we were the first generation that when we were really little, like young, the American idea was you could work for a company for your whole life.
Yes.
Yes.
And over our adolescence, we saw that that's not true.
No.
Right.
We saw people that worked at a place all their lives, right before they're going to get their pension, they get laid off.
Yeah.
And we saw that happen over and over. So we don't trust
Exactly.
the institution of like a business that you just, like corporate life. We don't trust that in the idea of like we're going to pursue that.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Right. Yes.
Totally. I
And that's why we're starting our new political party.
no, but I think that that's absolutely
Jizz
true.
Party.
I think that's
Really,
absolutely
it feels
true.
like the Fun Bear party was right there.
I know,
it's-
but really, the Fun Bear Party is the Jizz Party.
But I
Let's
do
be
think that there is a thing too that I think it's not something that I can probably speak to as intelligently as someone else who is more of like a historian, especially when it comes to institutions and finances and stuff. But when there were less companies across the country, when there were less people trying to make their own thing, there probably was more job stability for, like, I think between the ages of
there
like,
were more companies.
But well, that's were there more companies?
Yes.
Let's say from like 19, I don't know, 55 to 1995?
Yes.
Really?
Absolutely. The 50s was post-war America where industry exploded and it hadn't moved across seas yet.
Well, here's
you
what
could
I
have
wonder.
a factory that made like TVs.
This is what I
in
mean.
town.
Right.
So this is what I mean. So during
We
that,
live in New England. We live in a fucking factory graveyard.
this is what I mean. That stuff was more stable because
Yeah.
there was less communication. There wasn't Walmart taking over in 1965 in the same way that there was in 2000 or 2005.
Yeah, no,
Is that
absolutely,
true?
yeah.
So that
Yeah.
means that even if there were more companies, I think that what I mean, I guess, is there's less. What I mean is there was less
Conglomerates.
huge,
There's not- yeah, there's less
huge companies
conglomeration.
taking over everything.
Yeah, 100%.
So it was like Brad could start a small company in Warren, Rhode Island, and he could have 25 employees, and those people could feel secure.
Yeah.
But as time went on, that happened less and less and less, and the individual like Brad owning a company and caring about those people became fucking Walmart, where they're like, no, these are numbers. We don't
Right.
even know who works for us.
You know, that
We have
happened.
no
That
fucking
happened
idea.
across
Yeah.
the country.
Very,
So
very sad news for Brad's murder for hire business.
So,
in
but
Warren.
I think that did change the idea of a company actually having a dedication to its employees,
Yeah.
like my dad,
Yeah.
caring about the individuals that work for his company
Absolutely.
versus the people who take over.
That's why the conversation about like the death of the middle class and all that stuff is so predicated on the idea of losing industry and losing so much of that individual business thing.
Exactly.
And I always go back to that idea of like the factory towns. Like every fucking town in New England
Yeah.
can point to a factory that was there where like, it's like, no, everyone worked there.
Yeah.
Everyone worked there for their lives. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
and it was a thing, and now they just don't exist.
So maybe that is part of the whole I'm going to work for myself, or I'm going to feel less.
Yeah. There's
I'm
no
gonna
trust
feel-
in that.
I'm going to feel less dedication, less trust to that, because we kind of live in an age now where there just is less loyalty and dedication from the opposite direction.
Yeah, and
You know what I mean?
think that's good. I think one of the things I see often come up, like a phrase that comes up often talking about career stuff and
Mm-hmm.
job stuff in general, working, as
Yeah.
millennial generation kind of stuff, is your job doesn't care about you.
They don't.
And that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Well, this was a big thing with Brad over the
Yes,
past couple of years.
yeah,
is,
absolutely.
like, getting to that place,
Right.
right?
Yeah, you're the one. Why have we been talking?
I know, exactly.
You've
This
been
is-
Well, no,
oh,
it's-
no, because you're a liberal elite in academia. That's what you are.
I am.
You're poisoning the minds of the younger generations,
Was.
turning all of them into trans. That's what y'all's are doing in the
them all into trans.
That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. It is. That's what they're
we
doing.
did have gender neutral bathrooms. So
Disgusting.
yes, yes.
You know what I heard? I heard that a couple of students in the school wanted to identify as cats. And so they put a litter box in the bathroom.
Yeah, you did hear that with no sourcing or substance at all, but
Yeah, but I'm mad about it.
yeah,
I was
sure.
pissed before you finished telling me. All you had to say was identify, and I was like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I'm going to the next school board meeting.
Yep. I have seen loyalty not work out.
Yeah.
And that was part of what led to my decision to leave. And I'm so adrift right now. It's been literally like 1.5 weeks. And I'm like, oh, this is it. I'm just going to die destitute as a prostitute.
Prostitute.
Yes.
Whoa.
And this is it. I hope my cat feasts on my corpse when I die.
It's going to be your face first.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole corpse, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
cram it in there.
at least you go out like usable.
Yeah.
It's utilitarian.
Productivity.
It's a utilitarian
It's-
death.
it's-
Yes.
Sends him out.
Yep.
Yeah.
As long as it's
yeah. You know what I said? I said when I die, put me out in an what is it? Oh no, what are they called for bees? What,
Apiary.
Aviary.
AP.
Apiary. Yeah,
AP,
sorry.
yeah.
I was going to say estuary, but that's for birds.
Yep.
Put me out in an apiary.
Okay.
Let the bees feast on my body.
Oh,
I would love
okay.
that.
Turn me into honey.
I would
Yep.
love to see you as a honeycomb.
Yeah, right. and then like eat the honey. I will become the honey.
Oh, real Samson moment. Yeah.
And I think that's a beautiful thing. That's
Yeah.
nature. I have become honey.
Yep.
I am the honey.
I have become honey.
Yeah.
I am become honey, destroyer of worlds.
Destroyer of worlds.
Stickier of toast.
Yes.
It is. It's tough. I mean, it's really tough. I think that I don't know. I wonder about the idea of people going towards creativity or building their own thing, and how many people are doing that with mindfulness and actually assessing risk and actually thinking about what are the percentages that this will work out. Because I think that for Ray and I, who have gone 100% in that direction, you and I are pretty analytical and we're pretty intelligent.
I'd say pragmatic.
And we're pretty much like, well, how is this going to work at this point? You know, what is this going to be? Like, how much money can I make? We kind of do it in a way that's really calculated. But I think that's a really hard road. I think it's a really tough road.
It's very difficult, especially like keeping the love of the thing.
That's what I mean.
And like for me doing stand up, like there are shows I do for me. Meaning I always use this phrase. That show was really fun. I got to be 100% of the comedian I want to be.
Yeah.
Right.
I got to do the stuff that allowed me to push forward.
Right.
Find new things.
Right.
And find more of what I want to do.
Your Portuguese housewife impression.
Yeah, exactly. All the stuff.
Yep.
All that they finally gave me the time to put the makeup on. But there's another part of it, which is there are a lot of shows that I don't do for me. I do for money. I do it to pay bills. You know what I mean? I've made the thing I love. You know that phrase like, oh, if you do what you love, you don't work a day in your life.
Yeah, untrue.
You can flip it and it's still true, right? Like if you do what you love, you will work every day of your life. You will work every
your
hour.
mind is never not looking for bits.
Right. Or like just thinking, if you're lucky, you're thinking of bits.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, you're thinking about how to turn things into funny, which oftentimes I find I don't even have fucking time to do.
Right.
Yeah, you're like, well, I got to put up an Instagram thing this
I got to
week.
read this. I got to respond to these people. I got to book this thing. I got to reach out to this person. If I want to do this creative project, I need to get this off the ground and start doing the thing.
Yeah.
All that shit. And if you're lucky, once you're in front of a camera or in front of a microphone, you have a funny thing to say or do.
See, this is what's tough. I think a lot of people don't realize this is that when you're actually working on creative projects behind the scenes, what you really need is to get to a level of success where you can hire people to do the stuff that is not creative.
And that would zen me out so much.
That would zen.
Yeah, I remember shooting Undependent. I know I always talk about Be a Man and Undependent, but those are like the big projects that came from my heart.
Yeah.
With Be a Man, that was so grassroots. That was everybody grab a camera, we're shooting. Right. Undependent, we had the ability to hire people and have them do shit. And I remember being in that shooting process and just being like, oh,
I know.
This is incredible.
I know.
I'm not thinking at all about what the camera's doing. I don't need to.
Right. Well, even before our live episode, when Chuck and Kyle and Craig are setting up cameras and getting the audio ready, and it's like, hey Ray, figure out the seating for the room.
Yeah.
And we probably spent 45 minutes before we actually asked someone, hey, what's the best setup for the room?
Yeah.
And it would be nice to not have to worry about that stuff.
Yeah,
all I was thinking about during that entire process was like, God damn it. Imagine being able to walk in here and just be funny.
Yeah.
Imagine walking in and someone's like, it's all set. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think about it. All you have to focus on is being ready to engage and be funny and be in a good space.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's so hard.
It's a really interesting thing. And I think that just like my specific creative path over the past few years has really put me in some funny places in terms of figuring out what you do to go from like being like a person who depends more on like a traditional corporate job or whatever it is, a traditional job, versus a creative. And I have all these very strange examples of people I work with, like Walt Flanagan, who is now 100% a podcaster, and Brian Johnson, same thing. And Mark and Joe from Tuesdays with Stories, Mark Norman, Joe List. It's like I go back now and I'm listening back to old Tuesdays with Stories episodes to edit out slurs that they used. But you hear them when they couldn't even financially really support themselves with comedy.
Yeah.
And now I work with them where they're, doing very well.
Yeah.
And that whole thing of like, well, where is the line where you finally feel comfortable?
Yeah.
Is such a funny thing to find because with all of this stuff, for whatever reason, it can go away tomorrow, no matter who you are.
Or what level you're at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a really strange thing.
Especially if those old tapes come out.
Yep.
For Chuck.
Yep.
Well, so this is the question is, and I think about this a lot. How much money do you need to make to feel like no matter what happens tomorrow, I'm okay? And as a creative person, it feels like
That's
amount
a big amount.
is astronomical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, if you're Burt Kreischer right now and everything goes away tomorrow, you're fine.
Yeah.
But what percentage of comedians
And he's going to save a lot of money on shirts.
of creatives? What percentage of creatives can say that?
Right.
And it's got to be 1% of 1% of 1% of 1%.
Oh, dude, we haven't even talked about the idea of the number one unspoken disparity in comedy.
Yeah.
Is inherited wealth kind of shit. You know what I mean? It is a huge thing.
Oh,
What
not just
doesn't-
comedy. Did you hear about the article that came out?
Nepo babies.
Oh yeah, nepo babies. Oh
Same thing.
I've been watching there's a lot of that person's the child of these people kind of stuff going on, and it's getting worse and worse and worse.
You know what I just found out that I kind of bummed me out. I don't want to take anything away because I think it is very negative to take someone like Maya Hawke and say like, you know what you do and who you are, it means less because your dad is Ethan Hawke and your mom is Uma Thurman. I don't like that direction.
Right.
But I was like, man, the Please Don't Destroy guys on SNL are killing it. I think their sketches are so funny and so fun and quick.
Yeah.
Do you know who they are?
Go ahead and tell me. I don't, but I would not. None of this surprises me. Zero
One of them
surprise.
is Higgins' son.
Okay. Yeah.
And one of them is Tim Hurley's son from all the Adam Sandler movies and sketches like that.
Absolutely.
I think it's Tim, right?
It surprises me zero.
And they're great. And they're great.
Absolutely.
This has nothing to do with quality.
But that's the thing is like, it's not, when I talk about this, I'm not saying they're less funny or less talented. I'm not saying Maya Hawke is less of a quality actress. I think she's great. I'm a fan.
Me too.
And the Please Don't Destroy guys are really funny.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the level of quality. It's simply acknowledging the fact that you are able to freely do that with it's a level of risk. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And in stand up, the big thing is like the hundreds and thousands of comics that are living in New York City or LA right now.
I know.
That are like, oh yeah, I'm so broke too. And meanwhile, it's like your parents, and in stand up, we're not even talking about like their parents were stand up comics.
Right.
But their parents have a fuck ton of money.
Yeah, like Nick Kroll could have his apartment paid for by his parents while he's doing stand-up.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, right?
I've talked about this with a lot of people.
During the pandemic, it was very interesting how many broke comics ended up in the Hamptons staying at their parents' second house, you know, to wait out the pandemic and stuff like that, because they are afforded the ability to take that risk, to say, I'm going to go all in on this thing, and I'm going to go right to the heart of it right away.
Right.
I'm going to go to New York, I'll go to LA, whatever it is. Then you get into Nepo babies, where it's like somebody who wants to start acting.
Yeah.
Well, if your dad is like the CEO of whatever production company, I think you're going to get some jobs.
Yeah, you've got a good chance.
And that's not even the recognizable ones like Maya Hawke being the child of celebrity.
Yeah, exactly.
The biggest Nepo baby issue is the children of industry people.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's when you're fucked.
It's tough because people don't realize, I think, the difference between not only if your parents have a lot of wealth, not only are you afforded the idea of like, I'm going to, let's say, graduate college and move to New York.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people cannot do financially.
Absolutely, yeah.
But there's the big thing to me is the guy
and they can't go to college in New York.
Yeah.
Well, the big thing to me is the guy that goes to New York and then with rich parents that want to support him, and the person who doesn't, and the person who doesn't is working to pay their rent 40 hours a week, and doing the thing that they love on the side, while the person who is having everything paid for gets to work full time on that stuff. And how much, even if those two people were the exact same person in terms of comedy and skill and dedication, but you have one person saying, well, 75% of my time is taken up by just working a menial job to live. The other person is going to succeed and grow and focus more on the craft and get better and better and better and better. And it's tough because, again, I love Nick Kroll. I love the Please Don't Destroy guys. I think My Hawk is great. All these different people.
Yeah.
It's really hard because they're just born into these situations. So I find it really uncomfortable to criticize that. But at the same time,
I just think it's
just the
disingenuous
truth.
not to acknowledge.
And
it.
that's the thing. You have
It
to kind
has
of
to
live.
be
You have to
acknowledged.
live between these two worlds
Yeah.
of acknowledgement and criticism. Same thing with privilege in general, right?
Of course.
You have to kind of
Absolutely,
you can't be like, oh, Brad was born into a family that's a stable home with
Family
people
of
with
Fink and Bozos, I'll tell you that.
of like a stable home
Yeah.
with parents who are super responsible and well paid. You can't criticize someone like that, but you should acknowledge that there is a difference when
Yeah,
there's someone
right.
out there living the similar life without that kind of stability.
Yeah,
it's really
absolutely.
tough. It's a
Yeah.
really tough place to be.
And it's fucked too because it's like I'm lucky enough to have gotten to this point where it is my full-time pursuit. I don't have a day job.
right.
But I'm certainly not at a level where like finances are fine, and,
Yes,
and
right.
I'm not like sometimes struggling.
I know.
Especially right now, like everything changed after the pandemic, and
Right.
we're doing this stuff, and like this year, it's like I'm a little fucking broke right now. But what that also means is like I can't afford to do a lot of the things I want to do
Right.
in comedy right now. I can't afford to do it. You know what I mean? Especially in a period of time where so much of it is self-made, self-produced,
Yep.
all that stuff. We've talked many times about this idea of like that special I wanted to do. I can't afford to do it, and stuff like that, or the next undependent idea, or the
Yes.
next this, or the next
Right.
that. It's just there's no.
Or how
I
you want
can't
to
do it.
lobby for the purge in real life.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean-
and I wanted to open a nudist barber shop.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can't do that.
Oh, I know someone who should work there, but I even think about the idea of even if you take something like a project like Funbearable,
Yeah.
and you say, okay, like we're three guys, we want a podcast. It's like if we had a team of people working for us, we wouldn't have to bring our own equipment everywhere.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have to take the time to set everything up. We wouldn't have to take the time to do the audio production, to do the final edits on stuff, to do the clips that we come out
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
All that stuff is limited by how much time we can put into it.
We have a whole podcast happen while we're setting up. Then we sit down and start the episode. You know what I mean?
And we
and that's
we all recognize that we're fortunate to have this room, this space.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
comedy connection.
Yeah, we're so lucky to have this.
And also acknowledging Craig Depina and Kyle Balagarin, who help us out a lot.
I
But,
just
like,
said to my wife today when I was leaving to come here. We were talking about like the time,
Yeah.
and she's like, "I hope you're having fun doing it because it's a lot of time, and I would hate to think that you're wasting that time, especially in like the career, and it's important for you and all that stuff." And I forgot the point that I was saying. I hope I am. I don't know.
we're talking about
But,
the idea of like how we could have done a podcast in the time that we're setting up.
right.
sometimes.
But that's that idea is there, and I mean, like that's half the reason I'm here is
Yeah.
because the three of us together can do a whole setup and
Right.
take things on. If there was somebody else that had that ability as well, I'd be doing a podcast with them.
Yeah.
So there's a long way to
hear
get to
you.
that joke. I'm very tired. But no, it's weird. And I want to apologize to the listener / viewer because this kind of turned into a complaint session. Like
Yeah.
a little bit of a whine. So what do they call? Not a bitch session.
Oh boy.
No.
You know what? We've been whinging.
It's like a pity
How about that?
party.
Whinging.
People say pity party.
We're just complaining. I think we're just complaining.
Yeah.
But and I didn't want that to happen.
Bitch fest,
But
people say.
Have you gone? Holy shit! Bitch fest is awesome.
I haven't been since Ozzy played. And
Oh,
it was
man.
just, yeah. it
I was there the year Meredith Brooks thought up her famous song.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's pretty good.
I
I was there when Limp Bizkit went acoustic.
Wow. I went I went at the one right before the pandemic when it had started and people weren't sure.
Okay.
I went that year. I regret it.
Yeah.
But I mean it was fun, I guess.
Right.
It was weird. The lady that created Theranos or whatever.
Oh yeah. Elizabeth something.
Yeah, she was there. Liz Truss was there.
Yeah. A lot of
Former
Lizzes.
PM.
Lot of Lizzes.
A lot of bitches. No, anyway, I'm sorry this turned into a complaint session. But it is. I should have expected it when we were talking about like what zens us out and what calms us down and what gets our minds off of these things.
We then went 180 degrees.
It's what do we need to be zenned from?
Yeah.
I got to build some Legos right now. I got to build some Legos. I do think it's funny how, I don't know if this is a coincidence or not, but I was feeling very energetic throughout the whole thing. And then we got into this place, and right now I could fall asleep so fast. We talked about naps in a previous episode.
Yeah.
I could do it right now.
Couch behind us.
There is. Oh no, I'm not going on any couch behind somebody on camera.
Come on.
That's Brad's
We're
casting
casting
couch.
a film.
That's Brad's stink couch right
Yes,
there.
yes.
But there's value to what we've talked about.
No, I think so. I think we covered a lot of stuff. And
I hope it just doesn't come across like people are listening or watching going, "Ugh, we get it. Oh, it's so hard for you to do the thing that makes you laugh."
I think that most of this was not bitching, though. I think the idea of talking about the generational shift in working attitude and stuff like that, it's just like, it's an interesting discussion to have.
Sure.
And it's funny to see how things have coincided and where they've left a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess it worries me because it's getting dangerously close to like you see this? This used to be made in America.
No, I'm
This used to come right down the road. Now it's made in China.
You sound like your own barber there, Ray.
Yeah. See this wallet? It's actually a great wallet from Distill Union, designed in Charleston, USA, crafted with care and premium leather. Where it was crafted, I'm not sure.
Unsure, yeah.
But this runs on Chinese children's tears. I don't know if you knew that, but
I mean, it's
great battery life. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Those
Yeah.
little fingers can make a phone. Holy cow.
I think that kind of attitude is worlds apart, though, from the idea of saying that you kind of wish that people who were in the workforce today felt a little bit like they had a personal connection to the place they worked and the people they worked with.
Yeah.
And there was more loyalty and stuff like that.
And an idea of security. And
is
like
a big
being
one.
safely assured that you're going to have this thing.
Exactly.
I think that's a big part of like the existential quandary that millennials and Gen Zers face.
Sure.
Because we see a future that is uncertain, whereas previous generations, I think, didn't see that. I think like boomer generations saw a life where it's like you get your job, you do your thing, you live your life, everything's good, you retire.
Yeah.
You work till retirement.
Yeah.
You know, you raise your kids.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And I think Gen X was very much like, fuck you, old man. I can do whatever I want. But deep down, I'll probably come back later and I'll do that job and then I'll retire. Right? Like that's what it was.
Yeah, for sure.
And for us, we see a future where we're like, I don't know. Like I see 3 jobs. I see side hustles.
Yeah.
I know.
No retirement.
I don't see retirement.
Yeah.
Like and statistically, like in the surveys and stuff, like more predominantly millennials see themselves working until they die.
Yeah.
They don't see retirement.
Right.
And then you add to that like climate change and strife and all of the problems.
it's bizarre.
And
Somebody get Ray his Legos.
I think millennials and on are just like, hey guys, everyone else saw like a path continuing, and I think overall, in a big way, the collective conscious doesn't see that. You know what I mean? And that's really scary.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
for being
Yeah, we're so away. I could picture people being like, I like the jizz joke.
I liked the scroll globes.
Yeah.
You guys remember when
I'm Team Chuck.
It's just a big scrotum. Yeah. Scrotum, yes.
I'm the one person that liked those nails during the live Christmas show.
Everyone liked them.
not even Chuck liked those
exactly.
nails.
When I took out those nails, I know I was putting on my little monkey hat, and you guys were going to get your little hammers.
There's this
smash
little
me.
monkey hat and little hammer. He's trying so hard. You know, in the trunk of his car, in the back of his car, he's got a little hat that's a monkey hat, and he's got little hammers, and he's like, one day my kink can live.
I'd prefer it didn't.
Smack me, I'm a little bad monkey.
Go ahead.
It makes a funny sound.
Ray, put this yellow hat on.
So curious.
So curious. Ooh, so curious. That's a great sexual word. Yeah, all you have to do is go ooh, right? As ooh, so curious.
Yeah.
Ooh, so curious.
Curious is the best. Oh.
What does this cheese plate do?
Ooh, so curious. How about a dog? I got an idea. All right. If a dog sniffs your crotch, if you go over somebody's house and the dog is sniffing your crotch, or you're walking down the sidewalk and a dog is sniffing your crotch, the best thing to say in response that will make everyone uncomfortable is just go, oh, so curious. Oh, we ended on a funny.
Yeah.
That's good. That is good.
That's fun.
Folks out there, if you want to check us out at funbearablepod.com or find us on social media at funbearablepod, happy to interact with you there.
And if this discussion that got serious, if this has connected with you in any way, or it hit a nerve, it touched a nerve, it got you curious. Yeah, definitely send us an email at funbearablepod@gmail.com.
That's right.
We'd love to hear from you about it.
sure.
And that could be a whole existential dread mail sack episode.
Yeah, for
Love
sure.
that.
Yeah, we'll start a cult.
Let's do it. We appreciate all of you, Fun Bears. We really and truly do. For Ray Harrington and Chuck Staten, I am Brad Rohr. Thank you so much. And we're sorry for being Funbearable.
Nice.
We should become whores.